A pleasant good evening to you all. I'm Shane Harris. And to everyone out there, a happy, belated Valentine's Day. And yes, folks, here in the Delaware Valley, love hurts. The Eagles have their championship parade on all four of the major networks, so all their regularly scheduled programming were pushed aside. Part of me feels unfortunate because I was excited for Arca being on Fox for the first time. But hey, it's Arca. Crashes are to be expected. Meanwhile, Shane Harris tonight, this week, is going to be very interesting. Another of one of those pillar episodes. And for once, I hope somebody breaks my drought of likes. Past four videos got 0 likes and low viewership. I'm like, what the hell? So, this weekend, I'll be setting up my Facebook page for Shane Harris tonight. So, you guys can easily reach me out as well and also help spread the word about my program. Sure, it's not the best program on earth, but hey, it's still worth watching because there's so many people who'll learn a thing or two. And you'll learn a lot from tonight's episode. And tonight's episode is actually pretty good. This Sunday is the Daytona 500. And the days leading up to it is known as Preseason Thunder. That's Puggy in the background who just yelled. Anyway, Preseason Thunder, because you can feel the rumble of all the cars going around the track. Take it from me, someone who's been to Dover last year. There is one other thing that can equate to that in terms of thunder. That's rock and roll. One cartoon from Canada decided that rock and roll was the best way to go. And this one was very entertaining. This is the third of the 3 Lion Smith cartoons to make it on to Shane Harris tonight. And here it is. We're talking about Grojband, folks. We're talking about Grojband, the most famous animated product that Fremantle has ever distributed. Yes, the same Fremantle who's behind your favorite game shows and Baywatch. Now, this was also, as you can perfectly see, this is also a fresh TV project, since the animation and the character design are directly using the same models and stuff that you may find on the likes of Sidekick and some of the other later goods that they have put out as of late. This came about in 2013 after a successful pilot session. Now, Todd Kaufman is a huge fan of the genre, and those dogs are losing it again. Now, he loves rock and roll. It's been proven. And he also loves the art of how some rock bands were formed in garages, which is also relatable. But he wanted to add a little spice to it. Humor and excitement, variety and everything. This is a show built on music, and guess what? It did it perfectly. For this series, they had a whole pilot that they aired, and they decided, you know what? This is going to be great. The pilot, which was 22 minutes long, would eventually get cut down into the 11-minute series premiere, excuse me. So, the other change that had to be done is, of course, the amazing theme music for the show that Lion Smith actually performed. And Lion Smith, just like in DNAce, happens to be the main character, Corey Riffin, who also has to deal with an older sister named Trina, who's kind of an asshole. And one who has a diary that also houses some lyrics. So the whole group which consists of Corey, Laney, plus Ken and Khan, both of whom are named after King Kong, by the way, are both all together taking the diary and turning it into great songs. All of which, based on people's knowledge, would actually equate to a soundtrack that's 52 minutes long. All of this in one season. And the only show that can top that in terms of length of songs that are original in a soundtrack for one cartoon that's completely built on music with lyrics is Phineas and Ferb. But here on Shane Harris Tonight, we disregard the mainstream. And this show only ran 1 year, 2013. So, excuse me. So, this series does strike a chord with everyone who remembers it, including myself. And funny enough, there is one thing that this show managed to do that all the other networks and cartoons would never do, and that's reach out to the fans. Viewers who were watching the series on Cartoon Network in the US, well, they were left with watching the show. People who were living in Canada and watching it on Teletoon, they had to go on the Grojband official website, which unfortunately is shut down, and they got to have their own great idea. There is this video you can find on YouTube, about 3-4 minutes long, in which all 4 characters explains that there is a wicked cool transition creator. And you gotta play all these mini games on the website with an account, of course, and you must be in Canada at the time. And based upon how much guitar picks you use, you would buy upgrades to make your wicked cool transition custom idea even better. Then, the people behind the scenes of GarageBand will take 5 of the best from across the country and put it up for a major vote. The winner will have their transition be used on an official episode, which is probably the best idea I have ever seen. And talk about commitment right there. Now, sorry I don't sound the best right now because it is freezing outside. And also, as of recording this video, I just got done watching the Eagles championship parade, which took like 7 hours or so. I don't know. So, the series is not storyline driven. It's episodic. And it actually works very well because every episode completely feels different. There is an article on Animation Magazine's website called Music to Soothe the Savage Teen. I recommend you read that because you'll learn a whole lot of shit on there about how this series managed to come about. Some of which I don't remember off the top of my head. But what about the series in terms of latter day distribution? Now, the series came out on DVD in Australia, and it works on NTSC players. And unfortunately, I tried to get that for Christmas, but it was out of stock. So I'm only stuck with myself watching someone's full uploads of both DVD sets. Welp, welp, welp. And by the way, it's the same person who decided to upload the full DVD lineup of Johnny Test as well, so I commend that person for doing so. Now, I did watch this back in 2013. I felt, just okay, but wasn't really into it. But then, when the pandemic came around, I was on this Canadian cartoon kick, And I said, you know what, let's try that show again. And I actually enjoyed it. Because it is off the wall hilarious. Like, don't you just love characters who have zero rules? You know I do. Absolutely. And the show does it perfectly. So, yeah, I don't know why I'm saying so many times. So please don't drink every time I say so, alright? Anyway, with this series, it came on DVD in Australia, but not in Canada and not in America. Unfortunately. But the series made it onto YouTube, and there's a lot of third-hand people who uploaded all the episodes without any issues. So that's also good news. And if you're going to ask Lion Smith what is his favorite cartoon, you know damn well that most likely he'll say Grojband, based on all the comments I've seen on the video that features all of his voice acting works prior to Inspector Gadget's 2010's reboot / DNA's. Because, well, the video was that old. Anyway, the series really struck a chord with me because, as someone who likes to talk about DeviantArt sometimes, there's a few people who actually makes really good fan art. Ones that I like are particularly ones that turn crazy cartoon characters and making them a lot more realistic looking. And Rose Speed, apparently, did that perfectly to the point where I would subscribe to that channel. My very first channel subscription for myself was given to Rose Speed. And I'll have that video plus the Wicked Cool Transition Builder promo video in my channel's description. So check that out if you can. Anyway, I'll see you next Friday, 8/7 Central as always, as we're going to talk about Camp Lake Bottom, as we're starting to wind down our trip through all 24 shows that will make up the Mayhem Tournament. We will see you then. Good night.